crap, he's doing it again. Again, is he gonna link to it? This can't keep happening. Wait, YoungRippa has made a video. Wait, YoungRippa has made a video on on Cirrus. Is that true? YoungRippa, weirdo, loser, conservative, middle-aged man.
Apparently, my mild take of saying child mutilation is bad has kicked this sort of nest of a bunch of degenerates, gay furries and whatnot. And they have
the gay furries
doing a bunch of videos, and they have some interesting things to say. So there's one guy, Rip vs. Goldpost, did post.
Apparently it's important. Apparently it's important, at least according to YoungRippa 59, who has a channel with 512,000 subscribers.
Much to do with that character that I understand is many of y'all's favorite tokenized character.
Tokenized character. Miles Morales. Tokenized character. You know, the guy who literally took on the mantle of Spider-Man in the Ultimate Universe for the longest time. Definitely a token. You know.
This is stupid on Rippa's part. I don't think Rippa knows what the word token means. I kind of touched on this a little bit when I talked about my tokenism video. I think a lot of people don't know what the word token means. I think people, when they think token, is when there's somebody who you want to have a political argument against, and they're a minority or a woman. And so you want to discredit the people who like them by calling them tokenized. That's what I think tokenization actually is. And you're right. Is he watching this video on his phone? That's mobile. Wait, is he watching this on his iPad or something? What is happening? Does he not have a computer? Is he streaming all of this from 4 different phones? Or is he recording all this from 4 different phones or something? What's going on here?
Oh, definitely. Maybe you don't know the definition of token, but
well, I've defined it very thoroughly. You dumb son of a. You can go watch my video. It's actually titled, I believe, Tokenism and Tokenization Explained. Now, I don't care how a degenerate uses the term. It's actually not important to it at all. If you want to understand what it is that I'm referring to regarding the race swaps, you can go ahead and watch that video. They exist. There's several videos out there that exist.
Miles isn't a race swap. Miles is literally his own guy. Miles is his literal own person. Miles is just Miles is a guy. He's not Peter Parker. He's, you know his name is Peter Parker, not, Miles' name is Miles Morales and not Peter Parker, right? Who has a completely different upbringing and who just gets passed down the term Spider-Man to protect, I don't know, Lower Manhattan. What was he talking about? Miles was always black? Yeah, he was always black. He can't, not a race swap. He's can you imagine that? Wait, can you imagine that really quick? Because that shit is so funny to me. Can you imagine one guy, can you wait, Can you imagine working in an office, okay? And there's the head manager supervisor, okay? There's the manager supervisor, and they're Asian, okay? And then the manager supervisor steps down, and then there's a new guy who's hired to be the manager supervisor, and he's black. Can you imagine sitting there while in the orientation for the manager supervisor, where he's asking, where he's doing hey, it's me, I'm gonna be your new manager supervisor. Can you imagine sitting YoungRippa sitting back there in the back of the office? Lame race swap. That's a whole new guy. What are you talking about? What's happening? Wait, do they have to hire somebody who's the same race every single time? Doesn't that seem racist? Why can't it just be a guy? Miles wasn't picked to be Spider-Man because Peter was hey, Negro, and then threw him a mask. Miles got picked, wasn't he? He literally has spider powers. That seems like it's a great prerequisite for him being Spider-Man. Anyways, I'm a little interested now. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to hear his voice much, but Token. The character some people pretend to like. Can you imagine how soulless you must be to not find Miles charming? Used to legitimize Latinx, it's Afro-Latino. Spite tokenization? Y'all love white folks sloppy seconds. Women. Am I right? He's tokenized everybody? What video is he referring to where he talks about tokenization? Is it all of these? Is it none of these? Why I dislike reskinned. Maybe this is it. 3 years ago.
All right, so I had plans on doing this video, obviously.
I love YoungRippa because he's like Jesse Lee Peterson, but if he had like 5 extra IQ points. So that would probably take it from like a 54 to a 59, which I think is pretty cool.
As a stand-up script video that I do, solely created to be a tokenized Spider-Man. Copy, paste. Don't take my word for anything. You Google anything, everything anyway. That's what y'all do, normies. So just Google it.
You look up things and check facts and make sure that you're saying things correct. Normie.
Since he was conceptualized, that was the whole idea. We wanted a black biracial, but we wanted a black Spider-Man.
Why people
so they gave
like
you black
him,
Spider-Man.
why dislike him, Miles' journey, tokenized characters.
So no, I never liked the idea of a tokenized Spider-Man. I always hated that idea. God damn it. Create a new character. They're gonna kill you too between him and Nick Fury. They just try to
He is a new character. He is literally a new guy. You know, you're right. They shouldn't make him Spider-Man. He should be Spider-Guy. Spider-Boy? Spider-Dude? Arachnilad? Okay. All right, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. There you go. Spider-Person? No, they wouldn't like that. Because that's too trans. That's too trans. Spider-Black Man. Okay, that works.
Scan these characters that already exist. Instead of putting characters through the grinder, they have to piggyback off white characters' legacy. I'm sick of that shit. But that's why I don't like him. It's not just because, he's a tokenized character, but he's an unoriginal tokenized character. There are certain tokenized characters, well, all tokenized characters are unoriginal, excuse me. But some tokenized characters.
Does he explain what tokenization is? Spider-Man. Maybe he talks about it here?
Interesting character. She's a very interesting character. It's a little more to her than that, right? Developed and better handled than other characters. This motherfucker ain't one of them. He's not one of them. Miles Morales is a joke of a character. He's a tokenism bone that Marvel dangled in front of motherfuckers. Said, hey, here, take this token, and y'all ate that shit up. And now people, because they love the idea that, representation and inclusivity, which is why they brought him in the first place. So if nothing else, you can say Marvel, they executed a great plan.
Is he tokenism? Is he tokenized because like people like him and he's black? And he like, what does tokenization mean?
Creation of this character, he was solely created to be a tokenized Spider-Man. Copy, paste.
What does that mean?
Don't take my word for anything. You Google anything, everything.
He's literally not. Does he know anything about Miles? I don't even watch like the Spider. I've never watched like the last Spider-Man movie I watched was the one where Peter. It was the live action one from like 2003 or something where he had like the organic shooters, and he's like, and he made the homophobic joke in the cage.
Anyway, that's what y'all do, normies. So just
but like I even know this about Miles.
He was conceptualized. That was the whole idea. We wanted a black biracial, but we wanted a black Spider-Man. So they gave you black Spider-Man. Afro-Latino. Handled. Ultimate Universe. I don't like it. Y'all know I don't like multiple universes. All that is.
I really don't care. All right. So there's that. So he didn't explain it there. What about he's tokenized everybody? Will this one talk about it?
Keeping our hands on this pulse on this. So it's what if he was all these different things. We covered it with him being Thor. We covered him being among other things. And I can't remember if we covered like what it actually looks like.
Wait.
Pay money to watch this or read this dog shit. But we've been making fun of these guys as they've been coming out with everything. We've got these sneak previews. Miles Morales he has his own what if. Now he doesn't just get one what if. He gets like 5 of them, right? So it's what if he was all these different things. We covered it with him being Thor. We covered him being among other things. And I can't remember if we covered like what it actually looks like. But as CBR documents, here he is. Miles Morales, everybody's favorite tokenized character, be it other tokenized characters, being tokenized other versions of characters. And we have our first look, of course, the swagger of a black teen, exaggerated that is. Graffiti. Miles is the best there is at what he does. Not be at Spider-Man. That's for fucking shit.
Can you imagine? Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. He's not the best at being Spider-Man. That's like the point of his like journey from going to like a guy to taking up the mantle of Spider-Man and being as big as the idea of Spider-Man that may even be bigger than one person could possibly fill. That's called character development. I don't think this guy's ever gone through it. What is he on? The Stan Lee would have spit in this guy's face. Yeah, but like Stan Lee would spit in like half of the like comic book fans' faces. They're weird. Thor Miles wasn't it? Was it not it because it was simply bad, or was it not it because Miles was Thor?
Says, and in this reality, what he does isn't very nice. What if Miles Morales was taken from everything he ever knew, his family, his home, his life, and transforming them to be what they made him? He says.
Can you imagine being
and
this
as the
bitter of
description
a
pops
person?
up on this, here he is Wolverine, a little jacket, I guess. And now
Can you imagine being this bitter of a human being? This shit is crazy to me. Does he talk about what tokenization is?
What if was something that people enjoyed, but it was in the past, it had been more of one-offs. It was like, hey, here's what if James had been historically used to tokenize. In this version, it is especially used to tokenize. This is the thing. You don't give a guy an entire series like that unless you're trying to basically force him in a place that he does not belong. You give him a series of what ifs, and if he's as popular as what these guys like to think that he is because of a Spider-Verse movie and the fact that people make stan accounts on Twitter, if he was as popular as what people thought that he was, there's no way that you do something like this. This is actually their attempt, Marvel's attempt to put him everywhere so they can make it seem like people actually like this shit when, of course, the sales are never indicative of that.
This shit is so funny. All right. Now we tried that one. What about this one? About sloppy seconds?
Yo, what up, everybody? In Warehouse Living. Now, tokenization, I've defined it many times. And
I'm starting to feel like he's lying. What do you guys think? Turn this shit off? I'm too invested now. I gotta figure out if he's gonna define it. He keeps saying in every video where he says he's always defined tokenism, he never goes on to define tokenism. I gotta find out. I gotta find out. I gotta know. I'm too invested now.
This context, what we're talking about is a race swap, right? Character that has historically been one way, understood to be one way, and then there's a swap there for various reasons. I've done a very detailed video, so some people are like, hey, I don't care to even argue the semantics of what it is that we're discussing, okay? That's irrelevant to the topic. What you know as far as what I'm referring to in this context is the race swap of, let's say, a character, fictional character. It doesn't really matter, but let's just talk about that. What you deem that is not particularly important to this video, okay? But I have done a video, long form. Y'all can go check it out.
Where? And wait, every single time there's like a video, he's like, I've done a video on it. I can't find it. You think he's lying? Do you think he's just lying? Spite tokenization, tokenized Spider-Man. Holy shit, he hates Miles. What the fuck? Why is he so bitter about Miles? Holy shit. Did Miles like come in his wife or something? What happened?
Miles Morales, the character that so many people pretend to like. Now I'm going to try to make this a contained video as I've gotten more than enough content out there speaking on this topic. But
apparently not, because he's making
Morales,
more.
Being a derivative of Peter Parker, you're sure to get weirdos and plenty of stan accounts very aggravated. In fact, if you want to get guaranteed engagement on sites like Twitter, simply say Miles Morales is Miles Morales and Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Screenshots from a torrent website or that Marvel Unlimited.
What is happening? Poor Miles. I'm so glad he's not real, so he doesn't have to see this.
Normally for maybe thousands of dollars in the future. The point of this video is not to just straight up crap on Miles as a character, but I will get this out of the way so newbies know where I stand. Miles Morales is a tokenized Spider-Man. I define what this means precisely in my masterpiece of a video.
Holy crap, he's doing it again! Again! Is he gonna link to it? This can't keep happening! Is he gonna say the video?
Titled Tokenism and Tokenization.
Yo! Wait! Yo!
Over the years,
Oh my goodness, we've done it. Oh my goodness, it's taken so long. We've made it. We've done it.
Done many different videos talking about the concept of tokenization.
I
What is
figured I'd
tokenism?
do a dedicated video explaining what exactly it is and the issues that stem from it. Instead of going back and forth with some brainlet in the comment section, just send them this video and call it a day. There wasn't even a Webster's Dictionary entry for tokenism when I first started using it in videos. I do not care what you personally think that it is or that you think I should use a different term. Not important. So let me define tokenism first and foremost in this context.
Wow, what a postmodernist. Words don't matter? Crazy.
Tokenism is the gender, race, or sexuality change of a pre-established character. We call this tokenism because it's usually only done one direction and it's purposeful and with intent. Once that tokenism occurs, we call that manifestation a tokenization, and it doesn't matter if there's a supposed mantle at play. There's
Oh, okay. So, all right. Okay. It makes sense. Okay. Now it all makes sense. My original definition of what his definition of tokenism is correct. It's just when a character is now different and he doesn't like it and he wants to devalue the opinion of people who he doesn't like because they like a thing that he doesn't. All right, good to know. We've done it. Based and epic build. So this, and I think, I don't know, I just think this is really funny. Pick a word, make up a definition for it that nobody else uses, then get mad when other people try to correct you on the word, then say the word doesn't matter, but then call them dumb for not agreeing with your definition of the word because that's how you use the word, I guess. All right.
That's not what this is about. Now,
Protect trans kids. That's what it says. Protect trans kids. That's
Based-
fine. What's the problem with a flag
Based
that says
in
protect
epic
trans
build.
because trans kids don't exist.
kids? Most people who are trans find out that they are trans between the ages
Literally
of 4
incorrect.
and 6. This is pretty well.
That's telling me that it's a learned trait. Certainly, if that is to be the case, of course, I will be very precise about my language here when I talk about trans kids and them not existing. I'm speaking to the transitionary stuff, and this is something that again is a learned trait. And when you consider the biological, I hate to use the term biological sex, because we're only doing that because they like to use.
Yes. For anything, for anybody to be anything, you have to first see it happen. Here, listen. Learned trait, as in see a woman. This is like incredibly fun for me. Bro's just dumb. Yeah, he is just stupid. All of this is like super fun to me because I love looking at conservatives who can't possibly understand people who are different from them. Like he can't even begin to conceptualize somebody who thinks different than him or has any like valid points whatsoever on anything that they have to say. It's just, I'm right because I'm right, and you're wrong because you're wrong, and you are because you are, and I'm right because I simply am. And that's the world. I believe a thing, and it's right because it is. This oh, it's so good. It's so good. Ah, yes, as you see, if there is a little boy and he wanted to be trans, it's because he was taught to be trans or taught not to kill trans people. It's one of the two. There is no other reason on planet Earth for why somebody would want to be trans. Listen, YoungRippa, I'm not sure if you'll ever watch this. I don't really care either. But for anybody else, here's how it actually works. Somebody is born. Let's go with a girl. Girl born. Born girl. Girl born. Now, this person has somewhere in their brain has their proclivity to maybe want to be trans. But they don't feel like that. But one day, while walking, they see a boy and they're like, I want to look like that. And there it is. Simple as. And then that can stay that way or blossom into something more. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. You're not a doctor. I know for a fact with your IQ, you couldn't possibly pass like a doctor's exam. So, I don't know, stay in your lane, partner. How about that? I'll just make YouTube videos instead. And of trying to get in the doctor's way when you have no possibility of standing up to them in a ideological, scientific, ethical, or moral framework at all.
Gender and sex are not interchangeably the way they use it, but nonetheless,
the only way that you would be able here's how you can't like even disprove this, because like, well, here's how like it would be completely ridiculous to even try to disprove this. How in the world would you know that like it's a learned, that like being trans is a learned trait? What does that mean? Because most people don't grow up like around a bunch of trans people. Most people don't grow up having conversations about trans people. Most people don't grow up knowing any trans people at all. I've never known a trans person in my real life, as far as I know. So how does that work? And people and kids have already grown up having their like having their media like monitored and their internet usage completely 100% monitored by their parents, and they didn't see any trans stuff anywhere. So like, how in the world are these people trans now? The only way that you could possibly ever prove this is to like incredibly unethically like take human beings and then take like babies and then place them in like little like chamber pods where they don't have any access to men or women or any person at all, ever in their entire lives until they turn like 18 to 21, something along those lines, and then release them and then ask them, and then take a marker of their sex and then ask them what gender they want to be when they see, when you show them a picture of a man and a woman dressed like stereotypically like a man or woman. That's the only possible way that you could ever find this out. And even in that scenario, even in this scenario, I feel like he would blow up his own brain, because without any of the societal pressures to tell them that you're not supposed to wear something like that, there's going to be a lot of guys who would want to put on, like a lot of like males who would want to put on dresses and like paint their nails and shit like that and like wear long hair. And there'd be a lot of like females who would want like short hair and to be like big and broad and shit like that. There'd be even more than if you just like asked like kids who grew up like a normal life. It just doesn't make any sense. Simply because they don't have the societal pressure to tell them that they shouldn't wear that, or it's not made for them. So he would be like, huh? Keeping them away from other people makes them more trans? He'd blow his little pea brain.
When you have someone that thinks that they are something else, that they're not, definitely a youngster, when you consider that they're young and they could be going through all sorts of different things. I'm willing to bet that I thought I was a Ninja Turtle or something like that growing up. It's not legitimate.
Is a man as far away from a woman as a woman is from a Ninja Turtle? I'll let you all simmer on that hard-hitting question.
It's not something that needs to be validated, certainly considering that I am not a freaking Ninja Turtle by any means. It's cool to have fun and do little stuff like that. But like, as far as who exactly that I am, we don't apply this logic to anything else. But for whatever reason, when it comes to this subject matter, all logic goes out the window, where we would allow a young person that is talking about, they find out when they're 46, maybe taught by the parents or the teachers or something of that nature.
So true.
But we would not allow that to be like a permanent,
nobody can ever think
thing in the sense of, because they're going
unless they're forced
to say, well, puberty blockers is reversible and all of that stuff. We'll get to that in a minute. But as far as
yes, we all know. Yes, I am Mr. Big Brain. Puberty blockers actually were made the same year trans people were made, which is 2016. Trans people were invented. They escaped containment below the DCCC headquarters. And they were made specifically in 2017 to make a new phobe label for conservatives. Yes. And that's when puberty blockers were also invented the same exact year in the same exact bunker under the DCCC headquarters. Yes. Because that's the only time when any of this stuff ever happened. I have political... This is what I'm talking about when it comes to like conservative political lack of object permanence. Like, they genuinely believe when they learned about, like, the year they learned about something is when it was like fucking created. Yes, puberty blockers. They were like invented with trans people, you know? And that's why we don't have any research on them. And they were never used for any other reason besides trans people, because that's the only reason they were made. I'm very smart.
As like doing something to their body, for even cosmetically, to change something like that It's not anything that we would accept in any sort of given other idea, no matter who it is that they thought they were. But for whatever reason, with the gender subject, we're supposed to say that they have the capacity at.
That's not true. Younger girls can get maybe not like full mastectomies, but like breast reductions. Absolutely, like a lot. There are absolutely like younger girls who get like their like eyebrows tatted or like other cosmetic surgeries that they can get, laser hair removal, things along those lines. There's a lot of stuff like that happens. I know in Asian countries, absolutely, when like girls turn like what, 15 or something, 15, 16 or something, isn't like a big prize in like some East Asian countries? They give like they give girls like surgery money to get plastic surgery to get rid of their like hooded eye and to fix their cheekbones. I know for a fact this happens a lot. And younger girls like tanning and using like tanning spray to change their like skin tone. Chicken bone, leave me alone. Because they don't want to like have the same like skin like tint as your average uncooked chicken wing, which I think is fine.
4 years of age. To make that, to determine that, and then it is on these adults who should have the mental capacity to sort of steer them in a lane and allow them to like live out this sort of weird concept of them being something it is that they are not. You're attempting to normalize the hate that position. A lot of degenerates are.
I'm sorry. Did I miss something? What the fuck did he just say?
Is reversible and all of that stuff. We'll get to that in a minute. But as far as like doing something to their body, for even cosmetically, to change something like that is not anything that we would accept in any sort of given other idea, no matter who it is that they thought they were. But for whatever reason, with the gender subject, we're supposed to say that they have the capacity at 4 years of age to make that, to determine that, and then it is on these adults who should have the mental capacity to sort of steer them in a lane and allow them to like live out this sort of weird concept of them being something it is that they are not. You're attempting to normalize the hate, that position.
The hate?
Well, a lot of degenerates are. My argument is that cannot happen unless you have adults gearing them in that way at that young age. As an adult, they can make whatever decision.
Didn't he say earlier that kids will just like, is he even listening to himself? Because first he's like, kids will just like think that they don't have the capacity. They'll just think whatever because they're kids or whatever. Santa Claus. Yeah, that's basically like the meme that he's making. But also, how does it comport that kids will just think whatever just because, with they have to be taught that they might not be the gender that they are told that they are? How do those two things like comport? How do those two things work together? It's either they just think it by themselves because they're like little kids in his idea, or they don't think it for themselves because adults teach them to. I think he's really just making it up as he goes at this point. I do think bro's just like making it up as he goes. That's what it sounds like, at least, right? Am I wrong here? Is Rippa a token if he race swap Ben Shapiro? Yes. If YoungRippa hosted the Ben Shapiro show for a day, it'd be evil tokenization and be the end of society. He formed his worldview around a walrus book. That shit is so funny. I think that shit is so funny. Also, 4-year-olds, they wouldn't be on puberty blockers because they're not going through puberty. They wouldn't get any surgeries because like they're like a little kid. They don't really need it. Like 4 and 6-year-olds, you know what they're doing? You like go, okay. And then you like ask them what they want to eat for dinner. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple, you know. I don't know. It's just like it seemed like it's a whole like thing of like belly aching and also using the word. It's like a bunch of belly aching and then using the word tokenization incorrectly for like 36 minutes. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it. Thank you, Boo.